When I look at Texas A&M, I do feel like, okay, this is a 10-win football team. And
even this year, you think they can be?
I look at Texas A&M as a 10-win football team, kind of in general.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into SEC Media Days. You see this? My interns made a great packet here on the show. SEC Media Days Day 1, David Nuño, Luke Evangelist, Nick Savage, the C team here doing the rewind. It's okay. Guys, you got your first crack at SEC Media Days. Why are you smiling, bro? It's weird. It's creepy.
Like, no, it's just funny.
You don't have to smile at me the whole time. It's like that's how my wife looks at me.
I'm excited to be here. My first taste of SEC
Is it
Media
the
Days.
T-Bob segment?
Hey now. And Elizabeth knows you. Now she's going to be upset. She's going to send you that text. So what was your, for you, what's been the coolest part about the first little bit?
Just meeting people and
left and right.
These are people left, right, up, down, forward, backwards. You just these are people you see on TV and people I grew up watching and people I look up to in this industry. Obviously, you too, but I get to meet them. I meet you every day.
He didn't have to throw that in there.
He should have.
I meet you, Billy. Yeah, I meet y'all every day, but these are people from all across the country who cover a sport that I love, and it's just really fun. Getting to shake Paul Feinbaum's hand is just surreal to me.
He is skinny.
But he's a sweet.
He's a
sweet
very
guy.
nice. Yeah, you actually said that. He's a lot nicer in person than you would think because of that voice and the way he's just a very nice man. I always enjoy talking to him. All right, Nick, favorite part of the show?
Had to be the Craniac, of course.
That's your favorite
He's
part?
right behind you.
Oh, yeah. Right, there he is.
He's doing his rounds. He was awesome. Love. What did T-Bob say? He was a synonym machine or something like that.
Yeah, he was great. Jake's always awesome. What was your favorite part?
T-Bob, as always. He's just electric.
As always, every time he's your favorite.
Every time. If T-Bob is on, I'm watching the show. I'm locked into the show.
Were you
I
actually
hope
here
our
during
guests
the
are too.
segment?
I was trying to do my job, but I was like, I need to watch T-Bob. You never know what he's gonna say. He's awesome.
He said some interesting stuff today.
Chris Lowe was fantastic from ESPN. I believe that's what we have for the rewind. There might be another one. Billy Lucci.
Yeah,
we like Billy.
We love Billy.
Billy, that and more is the rewind. Check it. Thanks, Specs, by the way.
When I look at Texas A&M, I do feel like, okay, this is a 10-win football team. And
even this year, you think they can be?
I look at Texas A&M as a 10-win football team, kind of in general. This year, it could be 8 wins, could be 9 wins, something like that. Maybe, I think the quarterback play is going to help them.
Yep.
Compared to different schools in the SEC.
Colin Klein's offense.
Right, exactly. And we watched that Colin Klein offense. So now you look at it and say, okay, if you can establish a running game here, I know what you got out wide receivers. I know what you got at quarterback. Defensive side of the ball, interesting to me. Along the defensive line, something I'll be paying attention to. But I do think that this is a club that can cause headaches for other teams. If Texas A&M fans look at this season and say, okay, you know what? 8, 9 wins. Let's do that. First year under Elko. Okay. That's a positive standpoint. Don't worry about what Texas does this year.
Yep.
Okay.
Just beat them.
Right. If you're Texas A&M, beat them. But Texas is one of those teams that they were loaded in general. Didn't have a lot of stuff going on in the offseason, whatnot, with Jimbo and everything. If Texas A&M fans can just temper expectations and be like, okay, this is a 9-win football team. Let's get to a good bowl game. We're building towards the future. That's fantastic. Because they can cause problems. And if they cause problems, that leads me to the 10-win scenario.
Sure.
And in this SEC this year, I know all the talent. They're going to eat each other up.
Not that I expect you to know A&M's schedule, but that first month of the season where you have Florida, you have Notre Dame. You're on the road at Florida, I should say. You host Notre Dame, and you have the Arkansas game, which I don't think Arkansas is going to mean anything, and A&M's dominated that series, but still, neutral site game.
Never know.
That September month could dictate what that 8-4, 9-3 season look like.
Got to be Florida. I think,
which is hard to do on the road.
I know it's hard to do. But we've seen teams do it in the past couple of years, especially under Napier.
Alabama, I really like Kalen DeBoer. I do. But I still don't know how that translates in year one of the SEC. I think they're going to be really good. What do you think?
Well, I do too. And I think Kalen's it takes a special dude to walk in behind a Nick Saban, especially if you've got a good job. And heck, they were in the national championship game last year. It's not like he's sort of working his way up through. And he wasn't, he didn't blink. He was ready to come in. He's clearly recruiting at a high level right now, as well or better than anybody in the country. I think he's got a quarterback that will blossom, Jalen Milroe. And and here's the other thing we don't talk about enough, and I'm guilty of this. Who do you have behind your first team quarterback? They got a kid, Ty Simpson, who was highly recruited. For whatever reason, under the previous regime, did not play with a lot of confidence. He played lights out this spring. And they really feel like if something would have happened to Milroe, he didn't play well, that he's ready to go. And so often you see that. You're only as good sometimes as your second team quarterback, especially in the SEC. Guys get knocked out. Guys can't play. They get hurt. Maybe they go into a little bit of a funk. And you always want to have that guy. It's hard, man. In this era to have a second team guy who's really good because they move on. And a lot of people thought Ty Simpson. So I think they're going to be pretty good. Their schedule is very difficult. Very difficult. You look at schedules, people always ask me about how's this team going to do. I always look at schedules. In fact, I got a column coming out here in a couple of weeks I do every year on scheduling across college football. Easiest, hardest, toughest non-conference, cushiest, toughest 3-game stretches, toughest close of the season. You look at OU and Texas. I don't know what Brent Venables did to the schedule makers in the SEC, but Texas's schedule is far easier.
Yeah.
Far easier than Oklahoma's.
Far.
And now I'll admit this, schedules sometimes in July look different than they do in November.
Absolutely.
Right. But you just look at it on paper, who they have to play, where they have to go. That stretch from I think there's an October to November stretch for Oklahoma is brutal. Texas right now, as we sit here in July, doesn't face that kind of stretch. Now they got to play Michigan out of conference, but I'm talking about within the conference, Texas made out a lot better than OU.
I think Jimbo never really pushed the envelope schematically. He had one way he wanted to do it. He was going to do it his way. It worked at Florida State. They won a national championship with Jameis Winston. But then you come over to Texas A&M, and everybody else is evolving. Nick Saban complained more about hurry up, no huddle than anybody ever. What did he do? He realized they're not going to change it, so I'm going to go be the best at it. Jimbo, I don't think ever made that. It's not that Texas A&M didn't have good players, but it felt like he never evolved, and that when you look at the roster and the way it was put together, I don't think the evaluation process off the field and from a mental standpoint in recruiting was very good. I think they just turned the tape on, said, this player's really, really good. Let's go get him. How's he going to fit in our locker room? How's he going to fit in our culture? I don't think they really looked at that. They just said, hey, how many stars can we get that'll be better than Alabama? And that's not how you build a team in the ultimate team sport, which is football. So, and look, Jimbo Fisher was best friends with my father. My grandmother bought a car from Jimbo Fisher when he was coaching at Auburn. So I love that family, and they've been great to us. But at the end of the day, if I want to make everybody happy, I'd sell ice cream for a living. He wasn't getting it done, and he didn't evolve. And I think Mike Elko is kind of a blend of all of that into one. So that's what I'm excited to see. I think A&M has a chance over the next 3 to 4 years to really push the envelope and maybe break some new ground here at the end of the season.
But for 2024 specifically, what is their ceiling? What's the low point?
Well, I'm big on Connor Wegman. Losing Evan hurts, but I think A&M's got good enough players to where if they do play discipline, if they play the type of football that Mike Elko constitutes, right? We're not going to take any crazy chances. We're going to be smart. We will do some things to push the envelope in some points, but we're going to tackle and hold you to field goals in the red zone. I think, and again, people make 8-4 jokes. I think 8-4 would be a good year this year.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good year with them. I think the ceiling's probably 9-3.
We were going through the schedule the other day, dude. I could see A&M going 9 or 10 wins. I mean, I would be terrified if I was Notre Dame because A&M's playing with house money. They don't have a lot to lose.
Yeah.
Notre Dame has everything on the line, and they got to go down to College Station. And who knows Riley Leonard better than anyone? Mike Elko.
Yeah.
Like, what a massive opportunity week 1 for A&M to kind of assert themselves and be like, new era.
A&M, it's so interesting to start. Now, you and I, and we've talked, you went pretty extensively back. Did you have him like right after we hired Moffitt?
Yeah, so I think me and you, I can't remember, me and you definitely talked right after Moffitt was hired.
And that was, and like you said, a lot of it was everything you just said, like part of that, a massive part of that culture shift is Tommy Moffitt. When I have A&M players come in, not only am I starting to really notice what they look like, but they are wired differently.
Yeah.
And
Bro,
every summer, the all season.
I'm telling you, dude, it's crazy. So allow me, I want to
hear all
allow
about
me to expound on Moffitt then, because first off, the resume speaks for itself. National championships everywhere has been yada yada. But also, if you talk about an X factor behind the LSU golden age, right?
Yeah.
The Saban and the 20 years there where LSU was really more relevant and better than they've ever been before. And when LSU, like, even when the on-field results started to struggle, why were they still putting so many guys in the NFL?
Yep.
Even though they didn't necessarily have the number one class every year, it's all Tommy Moffitt. Who do you spend the majority of your time with as a college football player? Your strength coach. The vast majority, you spend way more time with him than you will any position coach, head coach, anything.
All right. How stressed out was Cade today during the show?
Oh, boy.
Probably he was probably really
11.
stressed.
You heard him.
Poor guy.
I feel
I
bad
can
for
give you
poor
an answer
guy.
to that. It was at least a 15. It was bad.
Cade, did we ask you to speak?
No, but I thought I'd give my input on how stressed I was.
You know I'm kidding, buddy. You did a great job, as always. All right. For the people, like, comment, and what else?
Subscribe and share.
Tell your friends.
Tell your parents.
And smile. Actually, you know what? I take it back. I like that you smile. You're a happy human.
Thank you.
The
In a
best
world-
part about this is you're the only one that's on camera right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I didn't know we were all going to be on it.
I mean, you could have told me.
Well, it's okay. It makes it even better.
This is Luke Evangelist right here. All right. We'll see you next time.